Disclaimer. The videos are purely for educational purposes. The intention is to guide the students to fare well in their term examinations of their professional courses. I will not be contacting any of the subscribers or followers with messages regarding private tutoring or any money transactions. If anybody does message you, please report them and block them immediately. Professor K.M channel will not be responsible for the actions by the imposters with the same name.
Welcome to my channel. I am Professor K.M. Mahadevappa, faculty for Master of Arts Public Administration in Indira Gandhi National Open University for the last 30 years. Today, for the benefit of the students, I have chosen one of the question papers of MPA-018 Disaster Management of June 2011, and I have compiled around 525 words of reply so that the corresponding students can repeatedly read through that and try to memorize at least 400 to 425 words so that they will be able to get maximum marks in the term examination, where out of 50 they will be able to get 70% of that to be the marks to be added to the 30% of internal assessment that they are going to get. Now, the question that I have chosen is discuss the principles of community-based disaster management, which carries 10 marks, and the students are supposed to write this reply compiling 400 words. And normally, it is estimated that when any student writes in his own handwriting, he will normally write 20 words per minute. And that being the case, the students, depending on their frequency of speed in their handwriting, they may take around 20 to 25 minutes per question, which is to be, all the 5 questions are to be answered within 120 minutes. Now, I will just go through the reply for the above question. Discuss the principles of community-based disaster management. Community participation is the most effective element to achieve sustainability in dealing with natural and man-made disaster risks. Sustainable development and disaster reduction are essential preconditions for each other. Natural disasters severely hamper the progress and achievements of sustainable development, while at the same time physical infrastructure that we are constructing may itself constitute a source of risk in the event of future disasters. This is particularly true in the case of earthquakes, where the majority of victims are killed by their own collapsing houses. From the perspectives of environmental degradation, human intervention, and security aspects, disaster management is a pressing issue for all of us and should be undertaken on a comprehensive basis. The approach seeks communities at risk to get engaged in all its phases: prevention, mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. In order to build disaster resilient prepare communities, they need to be empowered first so that community members can cope with the adverse effects of natural hazards. This is the most effective approach to achieve sustainability in dealing with natural disaster risk. What is community-based disaster preparedness? Preparedness is to face disasters as required at all levels, right from the household to the state government, to minimize the impact of disasters. The government cannot reach out immediately to each and every household village at the time of disaster. The community is the first responder of any disaster and develops some traditional coping mechanisms to reduce their vulnerabilities. Such communities living in a common territory comprise of women, men, elders, students, teachers, and children. There can be recognized as RWAs, resettlement colonies, BPL houses, villages, wards, slums, jungle, etc., where people of different social and economic background live together. These people are also responsible for their peace, prosperity, and protection. The involvement of the community is a key factor in any disaster preparedness. The participation of the community is vital to sustain the activities of rebuilding the shattered community life. Community-based disaster preparedness is a response mechanism to save life, livelihood, livestock, and assets with available resources within the community, which should lead to multi-pronged development interventions to address the root cause of vulnerability and to a self-reliant disaster-proof community. In order to generate preparedness and response within the people, community-based disaster preparedness plans has to be developed in all the vulnerable areas. And as far as Gujarat is concerned, it has been done, and a CBDP is a list of activities a community decides to follow to prevent loss of life, livelihoods, and property in case of a disaster. It also identifies well in advance actions to be taken by individuals in the community so that each one is aware of his or her responsibilities when an emergency warning is received. The plans involve training to the community to make them aware of disaster preparedness and make them responsible to protect themselves during and post disasters. So this is the reply I have just compiled in 525 words. The students are required and they may perhaps advised to see that they repeatedly go through this and try to memorize at least 425 to 450 words so that they can fare better in determined examinations. All the best. Thank you.